Good morning. This is another segment of Meet the Author. We're at a book signing at Gifts to Go inside the Barnaby Street shops at Belmar Plaza at 11340 West Bell Road at the intersection of 114th Avenue, Avenue of the Arts, in Surprise, Arizona. We're here today with the Reverend Susan Henley, author of Sara, Beyond the Veil, a spiritual look at dementia. Good morning, Reverend Sue.
Good morning.
Thank you for talking with us today. First off, let me say that I found the synopsis of your book on the back. That's what really got my attention. Nowadays, there's so much out there. You know, I look at the flyleaf, I look at the back, but that jumped out and grabbed me.
Thank you.
How did you get the idea to write this book?
Well, I had an Aunt Sara who was diagnosed with dementia. And I used to go to visit her in her nursing home where she was.
Mm-hmm.
And she would stare at the television or stare at the wall and not really give us any kind of acknowledgement that we were there. And I would sit with her for hours, and I was checking on the place where she was just to make sure it was okay and she was treated properly. And she was. They did a wonderful job. But she wouldn't acknowledge me whatsoever. So I kind of thought, well, I wonder where you are, Sara. And I had asked her that question, and of course she didn't answer me. But her eyes were open, and she's watching whatever program they had for her on TV. So in my mind, I decided I wanted to find a good place for her to be. And that's where this began.
Kind of the lights are on, but no one's home thing.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So what happens to the main character?
Well, Sara meets Peter, the love of her life. And they get married, and they have 2 children, and they have a wonderful life together. And as they get older, Peter is diagnosed with cancer.
Oh.
And he does, of course, suffer. And it's the story of how he suffers and what they go through with his cancer. And then he passes away. And at one point in the book, it describes what Peter sees after he dies. And that was the most moving chapter for me in the very beginning. That one actually came before the entire book did. And then Sara is very distraught after that, of course, and she's sitting at her breakfast table and missing him, and all of a sudden, Peter appears before her. And he takes her to the places that he has been, that he is no longer trapped in his physical body. So he takes her to these wonderful places. And because she mentions to her children that she sees him, they have decided that she has dementia.
He gave her hope, though. That hope's a wonderful thing.
Absolutely. He gave her an insight into what is after this lifetime.
In what way will your book be helpful to caregivers who are in a similar situation?
I think the way that this would be is that it helps them to understand that their loved one, who may not be communicating with them at all, is really on another level, a different plane, or beyond the veil, so to speak. And that there is something better for them, and just because they're not sitting in this physical body suffering from arthritis or confusion or whatever that might be, their soul or their spirit is now crossed halfway over, in a sense, to where they're experiencing what the love and the peace and the incredible, wonderful things there are that are beyond this third dimension we live in.
Is there more to the story yet to come?
Yes, there is. Peter and Sara have a granddaughter, Emily. And Emily can see Peter, and she can see spirits, and she's always been able to see. And she helps, in the book, she helps connect Peter with Sara and the 2 children that are there who don't believe and think Sara has dementia. Emily is able to connect everybody together. It's really very exciting. Well, there's a sequel to this book, and Emily is grown up. And it's the story of Emily and her abilities to see beyond the veil all the time.
Look forward to that when it gets here. The book is Sara, Beyond the Veil, a spiritual look at dementia. The Reverend Susan Henley. Thank you so much for coming and sharing your thoughts with us today.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.